Hi, my name is Nicole, and I will be 13 years old this year. I looked, and here, many guys tell us about any situations from life. So, I also want to tell you about my own. I know as soon as I start the story, you will wince and say, ugh. But still, listen to my story. I will also be grateful to anyone who likes it and shares my story with a friend. Also, subscribe to the channel and don't forget to write your opinion in the comments below the video. Anyway, when I was little, my mother made me brush my teeth. But she couldn't teach me. I always spit out the toothpaste, then got the brush dirty, then threw it away, and my mother just lost her patience. She was always so nervous, crying and swearing, so it didn't work out. So, I didn't brush my teeth. But then I grew up, matured, and already consciously refused to do this. Yes, you understand correctly. I have never brushed my teeth, and I do not want to do this at all. Maybe it's something else. I remember it vaguely, but my mother doesn't tell me anything about it. I remember when I was little, standing outside with a toothbrush and toothpaste in my hands. Then my dog ran up to me and rushed at me joyfully. She wanted to lick me, but saw a brush with paste and ate it. She swallowed everything at once, and then she got sick. A minute later, I saw that she was throwing up. She regurgitated a tube of baby paste, and she took a shit with my brush in it the next day. And again, I saw it with my own eyes. After this spectacle, I felt so bad, so disgusted that I did not know what to do with the memories. Since then, it seems to me that all the brushes went through my dog, and I flatly refuse to brush my teeth. As the years passed, my memories turned into something muddy, but still, those feelings and emotions remained with me. I never started brushing my teeth, but I found a way out and constantly chewed gum after eating. You may ask in what condition my teeth are now. Want to hear? Basically, it didn't lead to anything good. The fact is that despite chewing gum, I have cavities in all my teeth. At first, my parents did not worry about this, believing that the baby teeth would still fall out, new ones would grow, and everything would be okay. But this was not the case. My gums ached along with my baby teeth, and I was literally in pain. On my 10th birthday, I was in the hospital because I had a terrible inflammation all over my mouth. My cheeks were swollen, and I couldn't even drink water. It hurt so much. I didn't understand why this was happening until my mother told the doctor that I didn't brush my teeth. At the hospital, everyone was surprised. They asked both my mother and me why. I just kept quiet because I couldn't talk at all. 3 days later, I finally felt better. I got a bunch of shots, and the doctor said, "If you don't brush your teeth, you'll end up here again." I didn't say anything when I got home. My mother handed me a new brush and paste and went with me to the bathroom. I stood looking at her for a long time, then suddenly, I remembered my dog again. I immediately felt sick and threw up in the sink. I couldn't help it. The very sight of the brush and paste made me sick, and putting it in my mouth was all the more beyond me. My mother sighed in frustration and left the room. I began to live again as before. My friends didn't know about my peculiarity until one day they came to visit me. One observant friend asked why there was only one toothbrush in the bathroom. It was my mother's. I couldn't get out of it in time, so I told them what I did. The girls were shocked. They even began to look a little squeamish in my address, and I regretted that I confessed. "How are you going to date guys in the future?" a friend asked me, and then I realized that there was no way. "And be sure to brush your teeth to have a boyfriend?" I asked. The girls laughed and said that it was necessary for fresh breath because you will have to kiss them. And then I suddenly imagined my dog again, and I felt bad again. I asked them not to talk to me about it. I also made the girls promise not to reveal my secret to anyone. And what do you think? My baby teeth started falling out just a couple of months later. Yes, they did not fall out before, but then they began to fall one after another. And my new teeth didn't grow. I had fewer and fewer teeth, and no new ones appeared. Suddenly, I felt so bad, I told my mom everything. And my mom was so sarcastic, like, I don't clean them anyway, so why do I need them? But how am I going to talk and eat food? I was so upset, and my mother took me to the doctor. She explained the situation, and I showed him my mouth. The doctor said that I had ruined my gums because I didn't take care of my teeth or my gums, and that's why my teeth won't grow anymore. I was told that I should drink some medicine, but in case I didn't grow anything, I should get implants. This is a procedure where they screw fake teeth into your jaw. Unlike your own, these are stronger, more beautiful, and smooth. I was happy with the prospect, but my mother was upset. Well, in the first place, it's all terribly expensive. And in the second, I was too young and already toothless. The worst part was that I had brought myself to the state, but I couldn't help it. I took my medication and hoped for the best. In the meantime, they made me temporary bridges so that it would not be visible that I have few teeth. My mother kept asking me to brush my teeth every day, but I didn't. Then she began to buy me special solutions that you can rinse your mouth with, so I started using them. And, well, at least it didn't make me sick. Then my teeth started to grow later, which I was very happy about. But there was another problem. They began to turn yellow rapidly. I went with my mother to the doctors again, where they bleached them. But every dentist, when they found out that I did not clean them, was shocked. Well, I'm turning 13 this year, and I still haven't been able to beat the habit of not cleaning them. What do you think I can do? And in general, maybe there are some other alternative solutions? My mother has already stopped getting into this problem because she can't fight with me anymore. So what am I supposed to do? Please do not stay away and write your opinion here. Can anyone give me advice on how to cope with my problem?
I used to think that people who kept a personal diary were weird. I thought that only the lonely or the crazy did it. I thought so until I came across it myself. My diary not only listened to my problems, but thanks to it, I didn't make a mistake. You could say that my diary saved my life, but in return, my parents learned all my secrets. So, I'm Stella. I have parents and an older brother whose name is Justin, by the way. Our age difference is 6 years. Yes, this is the age when there can be no common interests between us. My brother always liked to play alone as a child. When I tried to join him, taking cars or soldiers without asking, Jess got really mad. He immediately threw a hysterics so that I would take my hands away, or better yet, go to another room and never visit him. I immediately cried and ran to complain about it to my mother. I cried out in tears that he had offended me and said he didn't want to see me. Oh, my mother always gave him a thrashing after that. I remember her always telling him that he was the eldest and should be more lenient with me. I didn't quite understand the phrase, but it was a good one. Yes, I was happy when my brother got beaten from my parents because of me. Being the youngest in the family is a pleasure. Everyone loves you, brings you all the most delicious things, often takes you to an amusement park, buys toys. All the attention goes to the little ones, and this always happens. Once, when my parents went to visit Aunt May in the hospital, Jess and I stayed home. My parents said we shouldn't go with them. My brother was left in charge. As soon as Dad's car disappeared around the corner, Jess told me to go to my room, play with my dolls, and not leave until the adults returned. I knew he meant it, and I pretended to agree to everything. After 10 minutes, I left the room and went to my brother, but he was not in his room, in the living room, or in the kitchen. Then I went out to the back and saw him smoking. When my parents arrived, I naturally told my mother about it and showed her where he hid a pack of cigarettes as proof. Yes, I saw it too. Oh, Justin's face was red with anger at that moment, but I couldn't forgive him for his attitude towards me. War is war. At this point, I came up with a brilliant idea to write down all of my brother's joints, to keep a diary, so I could then ask him for anything in return for the diary. As I planned, so I did. Records, that is, dirt became even more. We could only wait for more to accumulate. I already imagined that in return for the diary, Justin buys me a house for Barbie, which I have long dreamed of. But then something unexpected happened. Remember Aunt May? So she went back to the hospital for her procedures. She had a daughter, my little cousin Cindy. Her aunt asked her parents to look after her while she was away, and they, of course, agreed. I can't say that I was upset. We had a normal relationship. But since she came to our house, I felt that her parents pay more attention to her. At first, it looked like a sign of courtesy and respect. Then it started to cross the line. Now I was in my brother's place. Whenever I wanted to play with my toys, Cindy would come to my room and ask me to join her. I was angry because I didn't want to share. I sent her away several times. But then my mom and dad called me in. For about 30 minutes, they scolded me for my behavior, saying she was small and I should be more lenient. What? Small? Am I small? And what the hell does it mean to be condescending? Why do they say the same things to me as my brother? I couldn't believe Cindy had taken my place. I didn't know where to vent this anger, so I started writing everything down in my diary, so it was easier. Meanwhile, the hatred grew. Cindy had been with us too long, and it was as if my parents had found a replacement for me. They've never done this before. I was a little girl. I was loved. I was so offended that I felt superfluous, unnecessary, and decided to leave the house. Before I knew it, I was writing down all my thoughts and feelings in my diary. It turns out it's easier this way. In my last entry, I wrote a farewell note and left the diary in my closet. By the time they find it and read it, I'll be far away. I packed my bag and ran out of the backyard and down the road. I walked slowly about 2 blocks and heard a familiar voice. Justin was shouting my name. When I waited for him, he came at me like a madman. I saw tears in his eyes for the first time. He was talking fast, telling me not to get all this crap and come home, and then he said that he loved me very much. I was surprised and started to cry too. I'd never seen him cry, and I didn't think he was so worried about me. I thought he didn't care about me. Just talked me into coming home. It turns out that when I went out through the backyard, he was standing there smoking. When he saw me, he decided to find the diary. I knew you would blackmail me with it, and I wanted to read it, but I came across the last entry. Look, Monica, we fight a lot, but know that you are my family, and I love you, sis, he said. This was unexpected. Then he immediately began to laugh it off, saying that I would not hear anything like it again. I still won't share my toys with you. You're breaking everything, he said, smiling. When we got home, he calmed me down and put me to bed. And when my parents came home from work, I told them everything. At first, they were taken aback with horror. My mother was hysterical. She scolded me first, then hugged me and cried. I kept saying that something might have happened to me if Justin hadn't found the diary in time and run after me. This reaction was to be expected. I burst into tears and told her that it was because of my jealousy of Cindy. Mom and Dad apologized for not paying attention. They explained that they felt sorry for Cindy and tried to help her be stronger while her mother was in the hospital. My mother made me promise not to do this again and tell her about all my experiences. By the way, Cindy's mother went on the mend and soon took her daughter home. I realized that if you hide your inner resentment, the situation only gets worse. Therefore, it is better to share your experiences with your family.